just going to have a refresher on properties of triangles, parallelograms, and trapezoids today. Triangles, one of the key properties that I need you to know is that height is perpendicular to the base. And when I say perpendicular, I mean that it meets the base at a 90-degree angle. That's how you can identify what the height is of a certain triangle. The area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Or, some kids like to say 1/2 base times height. I like the first one better, but there are some kids that like the second one better. So area of a triangle is the base of the triangle times the height, and then divided by 2. Okay, so this first one, I need to identify the base and the height. So I see that these two are perpendicular to each other. So I know that 4 is the height of this triangle. So my area would equal 3 times 4 divided by 2. 12 over 2, which is 6. You also need to identify perimeter today. One key element I forgot to include here is that area, of course, is a square unit of measure. So let's just make up a dimension and call this square feet. Let's just pretend. Because my goal here, I want you to remember that area is always squared. Perimeter, you don't square perimeter. So my perimeter is adding around the shape, so 3 plus 4 plus the hypotenuse, that's what that's called. And that would be 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 12, and that would just be a singular foot, not square foot. Okay, the next one, I want to find the area. So area is base times height divided by 2. Height is whatever meets the base at a 90-degree angle, so that is this 12. So my area is 10 times 12 divided by 2, which is 120 over 2, which is 60. Let's call it inches squared, just for fun, even though it makes no sense. Again, my goal here is that you know area is a square dimension. And here's my other goal, that you know perimeter is adding the outside of the shape. So my perimeter is 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 30. And that would be a singular unit, 30 inches. Sometimes you have to create a height. So this triangle is right here. I'm outlining it in blue very sloppily. This triangle does not have a height because the height that's an obtuse angle, so there's nothing that meets the base at a 90-degree angle. That's when you have to create the height. So what happens is you go to that top vertex and you drop a perpendicular line down. That's what creates that height. So my area of this one would be 13 times 5, because that's what meets at a perpendicular angle, divided by 2. 65 over 2, which I have no idea what that is, 32.5. And let's go ahead and call this yards squared, square yards. Okay? And perimeter is around the shape. So my shape is the 13 plus 7 plus 19. That is my perimeter. Combine them, 20 plus 19, 39, and that is a singular unit, 39 yards. Okay, so parallelograms are much easier than triangles because all you have to do for parallelograms is know that area is base times height. That's all you have to know for parallelograms. You do also need to know the height of a parallelogram, just like a triangle, is perpendicular to a base. So here my area would be 22 times 4, which would be 88, and let's make up a centimeters squared. Again, goal is you understand when you square or not square. Perimeter, adding around the base, 22 plus 4 plus 22 plus 4. So that'd be 44 plus 8 is what, 52? 52 centimeters. Okay, and then for a square, area is, what's the other side? 7. So area is 7 times 7, which is 49. In perimeter, I have 4 sides. Each side is 7, so it would be 4 times 7, which is 28. I'm spacing out a unit. Let me do feet again. Feet squared for area, just normal feet for perimeter. Okay, so you also, I should show you that there's some parallelograms that are slanted sides. Notice that they do not meet, the sides do not meet at a 90-degree angle. This is more of an acute angle. So this is one where the height would have to be dropped down from a top vertex. So the height would be here. Height has to meet at a 90-degree angle. So you need to be able to identify that. Okay, trapezoids. Trapezoids is such a weird formula. It is base 1 plus base 2 in parentheses times the height of the trapezoid, then you divide it by 2. How you identify the height? Height always connects the parallel sides or bases. Height connects the 2 bases. The bases are parallel to each other. And height is always perpendicular. It always is standing up straight. So notice that, yeah, this is connecting the 2 sides, but it is not standing up straight. So this first one, I would have to drop a height down. Height has to meet at a 90-degree angle. Think about me with how short I am standing on a tall day at 5'1". I don't want to slant myself. I want to stand as nice and tall as I can to gain as many inches as I can. So height should always be standing straight in the line, okay? This would be base 1. This would be base 2. Okay? Notice the next one, you have to, it's tilted a little bit, so you need to make sure to identify your parallel sides are your bases. So notice these 2 sides are parallel. This would be your height. I will call this base 2, base 1. It doesn't matter the bases, how you name them, because you just add them. And addition is commutative. What you do need to be careful of, careful, look, I'm yelling at you, careful. You need to be careful for how you put it in your calculator. For instance, I'm going to make one. 2, 7, 3. Here is a trapezoid. And I am going to do what a lot of kids do, and I'm going to punch this into my calculator, okay? Ready? Look at me. So, according to the formula, it's base 1, oops, you can't see it, base 1 plus base 2 times h over 2. So, in my calculator, I'm going 7 plus 3 times 2 divided by 2. What is your calculator going to do first? Jack?
Or calculations, so it's going to go operation.
Yep.
It's going to do the multiplication.
It's going to do this first.
Yeah.
According to our formula, do I want to multiply B2 times H first? No. I want, according to my formula, I am supposed to add them to first. So what I typically do, I just add it fast. punching it into my calculator because you're going to be doing a lot of punching into your calculator today. So in my calculator, I'm going 10 times 2 divided by 2. That's what I'm doing in my calculator. Okay, so I add these up first because I don't want my calculator to mess it up. Or you could go 7 plus 3, hit the equal sign. That makes your calculator figure that out. Then go times the height and then divide it by 2. You could do that as well. Okay. Then we get to work at an upper level, with these formulas, and that's working backwards. If you are given area, you have to find a missing dimension. So what you do is work backwards. I'm going to write all the formulas down. Which formula is that? Which one's that? Okay. And trapezoid. So meaning to calculate area for a triangle, I go base times height divided by 2. So to work backwards, I would times by 2 divide by the height. Area of a parallelogram is base times height. To work backwards, I would divide. For area of a trapezoid, it's b1 plus b2 times h divided by 2. To work backwards, I would times by 2 divide by the height, and then see what's going on there. You'll see. I'll do it a couple different ways here. So the area of a parallelogram that has a base of 7 is 90 square feet. How tall is it? So here's what I know. Area equals base times height. So 90 equals 7 times the height, because 7 is the base, divided by 7. And what is it? My calculator is on here. 90 divided by 7 is approximately 12.9. H is equal to 12.9. You could solve it like a real algebra equation. I don't personally create an equation out of it. I just know that I work backwards. So I'm given the area. Normally I times to find the area. So now I know I'm going to divide. So I know that I'm going to go 90 divided by 7 in my calculator, which is 12.9. This is what I do. That's the fast way. So you have an algebra way, which is beautiful, or you can just go ahead and do the fast way. Okay, the area of a triangle that has a height of 4 is 96 square centimeters. What is the base? Here's what I know. Area is base times height over 2. I'll do the beautiful algebra way. So and that's just me plugging in everything I know. 96 equals, the height is 4, so it's going to be 4b over 2. Make sure you know where those numbers are. My height is 4, so 4 goes where my height is. 96 went where my area is, and everything else. I just flip the 4 and b, and I can do that because commutative property. Now I solve. It's a normal multi-step problem. I times by 2. And I get 192 equals 4b. And then I divide by 4. And I get b equals 48 centimeters. That's beautiful algebra. The other way is just thinking backwards. Looking at the formula, you think backwards. You undo everything. So I'm going to go 96. Well, the backwards of dividing by 2 is timesing by 2. And the backwards of timesing by 4 would be to divide by 4. So 96 times 2 divided by 4 is 48. That's the fast. That's working backwards. Kind of working in that opposite order of box. Algebra will never steer you wrong, though. Okay, last one. A trapezoid has an area of 225 square inches. If the bases are 2 and 6, what is the height? So I know area equals b1 plus b2